Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to create a horizontal navigation menu using only styles. So here's an example of a little horizontal navigation menu, and it's cascading, so it's got drop-down choices, and also the active parent choice is formatted with a slightly different color so you can keep track of that. So that's what we're going to create here. So let me jump over to my editor. And I've got a bunch of stuff on here, but it's going to make things too easy for us. So let me just go ahead and what the hell, clear everything out. Okay, start from a clean slate. Save that. Of course, I'm going to finish off my style tag, closing head tag, and a body tag. Now I've definitely got a blank page. If I go back here and refresh, there we go. So I've already got my markup set up, obviously for an HTML5 document. Got that doc type definition, title, character encoding, and I've also got a meta author in there. I'm going to be creating styles certainly, but I do need to set up my list. I'm going to go ahead and create a little. I'll do a little H1 in here, and this is going to be, of course, my navigation menu. And my navigation menu is going to be made up of an unordered list. Okay? And let me go ahead and uniquely identify it. There we go. And my unordered list is going to have a series of list items. And of course, each of these is going to be a hyperlink. I'm just going to do a little dummy link. Oops, there we go. Let's see. Hyperlink 1. Okay. There we go, and I will set up hyperlinks 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is my parent navigation menu, and this will be, certainly what a person sees right when they go to the page. Some of these options I want to have some submenus and things like that. So I'll just pick on my second one right here. So I'm going to go to my second list item for my hyperlink 2, and I've got my insertion point right there inside of the list item tag, and I'm just going to press my enter key several times to give me room to work. So within this list item, I'm going to have another unordered list, and this is going to be let me do a class here. I'll do class equals sub1 because this is going to be a submenu 1. And I'll put in my closing unordered list. So just so that we're really clear, this submenu, this unordered list, is completely inside of a list item for the parent hyperlink or the parent list item. So got that taken care of, and then really it's just a matter of making some more links. So I'm going to copy one of these, paste it, and this will be hyperlink 2.1. I'm going to repeat that a few times. 2.2 and 2.3. There we go. So there's our sub 1. And I'm going to kind of repeat this process. So I'm going to copy. Notice where I'm copying. I'm copying basically everything that's within that list item for my hyperlink 2. I'm going to copy that, and I'll stick it down here for 4. Paste it in here. So now I've got 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and these are all, this is another submenu, okay? And I want to go a little bit deeper here. I'll do a submenu for 4.3 also. So let me go ahead and paste right in there, and let me do some indentation just so it stands out to us. There we go. I know this is looking a little bit weird. This is going to be class sub 2, and this is going to be 4, 4, 4, and this is going to be 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 3. Now, I feel like I've lost a lot of people here. This is just really setting up this HTML. It's a complicated looking menu. But basically, within my list items, I now have complete unordered list to show this submenu. And you can actually see this right away. In fact, this is probably a good way to go. You set up your menu first, get all the HTML down and with what you want. And now when I go to my browser, I'm going to see that I've really got a nested series of unordered lists. So I can see my parent list, hyperlink 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then there's 5 over there. And then I have a sublist for hyperlink 2 with 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. I have a sublist with hyperlink 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and I've got a sublist on 4.3 to these. All right, so basically, and this is a good nested list. So if you ever need to do a series of nested lists, that's the technique for it. So basically, you're just putting complete unordered lists within the list item of the parent. So really, the HTML is done here. So I've got just these dummy hyperlinks for my list. So I'm going to scroll up and start working on the styles, and that's where the real work is going to take place. First style is going to be a reset rule. Love doing the reset rules, okay? And I'm also going to have a rule for my body here. These are, the reset rule I think is an important tool. It sets all elements to 0 margin, 0 padding, so it's a nice way to have consistent layouts amongst different browsers. The body is just going to be aesthetics. I'll do font family Verdana, background color ABC. I'm going to put a little padding on here too. And I do have a headline 1. So I'm going to format that. I'll center that. Dark blue. And do a little margin bottom. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Alright, so this is my new and improved list. Notice I lost my nesting, so to speak, kind of. I lost the indentations because I set margins and paddings to 0. This isn't broken, and whenever you're making pages like this, you've just got to trust in yourself. And I know it was working before, I know it looks different now, but I know exactly why it looks different. It looks different because I set all margins and paddings to 0. In effect, I got rid of all those default indentations. But I still know that I haven't modified my HTML, so I know this is a good, well-written, unordered list or nested list. So I'm okay with that. And now it's time to start putting the actual menu together. And for most of these rules, it really doesn't matter the sequence that we go in, so I'm just going to kind of start to knock some things out one by one. Let's see, here's my editor. So I'm going to start working on my list area. In fact, there we go. Just do a little bit of formatting. So now the rules for my navigation menu are going to start up right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'll just say my unordered list nav menu list style type none. And I'm going to show you each kind of step of the way here. So if I save this, head back over to Firefox and refresh, I've lost the bullets for most of those things, okay? But I can really do even more than that. So in addition to my unordered list nav menu, I could do pretty much any unordered list. A couple ways I could write that. I could do this, all unordered lists, list style type none, all those bullets are gone, okay? If I happen to have some other unordered lists on my page, though, that could be problematic. So I might do unordered list nav menu, comma, unordered list dot sub 1, comma, unordered list dot sub 2. And this will take care of my main nav menu, my sub 1 unordered lists, and my sub 2 unordered lists. Remember, these are dots because I'm using classes as opposed to an ID. So if I save this, refresh, still no bullets there. Okay, so next thing I want to do is start to create this structure, how this page looks, or this menu looks, excuse me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start to manipulate the list items of my unordered list. Unordered list, nav menu, list items. And just so that we can see things, I'm going to go ahead and put a temporary outline, 1 pix solid red. Okay, so I'm going to end up taking that off before we're all done, but I like putting those outlines or borders on elements because it makes it really easy to start to visualize things. And you can see where some of them are thicker looking because I'm kind of doubling up when I have a sub list, but that is gonna make our lives a little bit easier. So now to get those list items side by side, well, first I need to set their width. I'm going to do 125 pixels for their width, and I'm going to do text align center the text within them. Probably not too critical though. And let's see, I'm also going to do position relative. This is a really important step here. So position relative is going to allow us to position our submenus absolutely within a list item. So this position relative is probably one of the most important steps. And let's see, I will also do a float left. This is going to get my list items side by side. Okay. And let's see how that's looking. There we go. Things are going pretty well here. Already getting that side-by-side look. And let me go ahead and also put a little margin in here. Maybe just to the right. There we go. So I just put a little margin. You probably didn't notice it. It just jumped a little bit, but it is a little bit wider there. This would stand out a little bit more. So if instead of I used outline, if I went over to border, there we go. Now you can actually see the spaces in between my list items when I throw that border on there. So that's where that's coming into play. Okay, so a little difference between border and outline. So outline is outside of that margin space. All right, so that's kind of good to know. So now I've got my, and remember, don't worry about how messy this might look in the middle of the surgery, so to speak. I'm really just looking, all right, I got my menu items up there. Okay, I'm happy with that. Next thing I want to do is I want to manipulate the anchor tags. And whenever you're making navigation menus out of unordered lists, you're definitely going to want to manipulate those anchor tags. So let's jump back over here. Unordered list, nav menu, anchor tags. So, oops, there we go. And let's see, I'm going to do text decoration none. That gets rid of the underlining. And I'm going to do display block. That converts my inline element anchor tags into block elements. And I like doing that because now my anchor tags are going to be easy to manipulate. I can manipulate their width and their height, and it makes my list items behave more like buttons. Check this out real quick. Let me just go ahead and actually, no, let me set the width and height too so you can really see it. So I'm going to do width. I'll do 125px. I'm going to do height of 25 pixels. Let me stop there for a second and check this out. Now before I hit refresh, just kind of make a mental note of this. If I want to activate my hyperlink 3, for instance, I have to put my pointer literally on the text. Okay? And I don't want to do that. I want the entire button shape to be a hyperlink. So now when I refresh, watch this. I can put my cursor anywhere in that little button, and now it is a hyperlink. Okay, so what allowed me to make that rectangle button hyperlink was basically making my anchor tags into block elements and then setting their width and the height to the shape that I wanted that rectangle to be. So really important step, and improves the usability of your navigation menu. Alright, so I've got that. I'm going to do a little bit of line height of 25 pixels, and basically that's going to give me a kind of an illusion of vertical centering. So now my text is kind of vertically centered. If I had multiple lines of text, that would be problematic, but since I've only got one line of text in each button, that's fine. So I've got that little illusion of vertical centering there. And actually that's pretty good. So I'll change the background color though. And I will put a border on there. Kind of a light gray. And how about a little border radius? Let's see, I'm using, let's just do border radius, how about 5 pixels? Let's see how that's looking. Okay, kind of ignore those red borders for now. Okay, so ignore those red borders. And in fact, I could always jump back here, and instead of border, I could change this over to outline. If I spell it right, there's outline. There we go, so it's a little bit clearer looking. And if those weren't there at all, I'm going to put it back though later. because I want you to see it on there. There we go. So this is how my navigation menu is looking. All right. Let's see. I see I'm about 15 minutes into this video. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, and then I'm going to pick this up in a second video. Okay, so a second part. So see you in a minute.